Episode 5.
Welcome back to the Backseat Podcast, Episode 5.
Backseat podcast. Oh, that's a Raven. Sorry. I was like, what am I gonna sing this after?
SMH.
All right, welcome to the Backseat Podcast. I'm Kat. I'm Chris.
I'm Catherine.
You're Catherine. And you've tuned into the Backseat Podcast. What are we talking about today, Kat?
Oh, wow. Let's check my handy dandy cell phone. Okay.
Your nails look nice, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I got them done.
Yeah, they look really good.
ASMR.
I don't have nails to do that. Oh my god, this just
You just hear the nubs.
the nubs.
Thudding. Just dunk, dunk, dunk. Like. Huh? Oh my god. Knuckling my ears.
Welcome to the Backseat Podcast.
Snap, crackle, pop. Thai massage.
Snap, crackle, pop. Time massage. Hey, what are we?
I hated that. Anyways, okay.
That was chilling.
Klaus, that was chilling.
All right.
Let's see. I have several rabbit holes that we can go down.
Let's do it.
We can talk about North Sentinel Island.
Okay.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Or we can talk about the real Bikini Bottom.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, I'm getting lots of responses for the second one.
Do it.
Okay. So, Bikini Bottom is an island. Thank you, Christian. Copyright.
I didn't do it right anyway.
Bikini Bottom is a real island with real inhabitants, right? And basically the US wanted to experiment with what is it? The nuclear warfare. That's what it is. They wanted to experiment with nuclear warfare and they needed a place that wasn't the US to do it. So they approached the people of the Bikini Bottom and asked them to move from this island to the island next door. And so the people of Bikini were a Christian settlement. So they prayed to God and they felt like God told them that was okay. And they packed up their things and they moved to the island next door. Well, the US starts doing all of these like nuclear bombs, like, all this experiments. While they're experimenting on this island, completely contaminating it with radiation, the people of Bikini are on the island next door. This island is completely uninhabitable to people. There's no food. There's no way to like source like necessary things for survival, and they are literally starving to death. So then the US hears of this and they're like, "Okay, we're not interested in nuclear warfare anymore. Let's just move them back to Bikini Bottom." Now, the problem with that is they done literally contaminated this whole island with what is that? Radiation.
Yeah.
So they moved these people back to Bikini Island, those that are left that were literally starving,
Okay.
and gave them all radiation poisoning. And half their population literally died. And there's still a small settlement still on the island today. And they actually sued the United States of America and won for war crimes. And so the United States of America is supposed to like pay them a large lump sum of money over the span of like, I don't know, like 20 years or something.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. And so the US started making payments to them, and then in 2020 decided we don't want to pay them anymore. So we just haven't paid them, and they can't do anything about it.
Wow.
The radiation poisoning is so deep that the dolphins that live around Bikini Bottom have either an extra dorsal fin or no dorsal fin at all because of the mutations, because of the radiation. So allegedly SpongeBob is actually modeled after that very real incident, and that's why all of the characters can talk, because they have radiation poisoning.
Gosh. That's why in all the earlier episodes, everything was a nuclear explosion. That's why everything's flammable. That's why there's fire. Like
The
that's why
Flying Dutchman.
the Flying Dutchman. I wonder if they see aliens there.
If you rewatch SpongeBob under that lens, there's so much like I thought it was just like a funny like conspiracy theory, but there's so much like hidden like callbacks, like if you know you know
Yeah.
type callbacks to like referencing like warfare and like bombs and like radiation poisoning. It's crazy. I don't know what I was watching the other day, but I literally had a moment and I was like, "Oh, whenever like the houses are all like mufflers from like cars and
Oh
stuff."
yeah, yeah.
I literally was like, "The island of Bikini."
Well, I think they did that because people throw their car mufflers in the ocean.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not yeah,
That one I think specifically.
probably.
That's because that's what goes
The
to my
people of
head.
Bikini, sorry. I'm sorry. I have a hair stuck to my face. The people of Bikini did not have cars,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I was just thinking like
Dude, that's so crazy though.
everything's
Oh
connected.
man, that's amazing.
I don't like to go on that rabbit trail too much because then it kind of sends me into a faith crisis because I'm like,
Well, it's the faith crisis.
why did God tell them that they can move islands to begin with?
Well, was it God? You said something 2 podcasts ago. Go watch it. You said something 2 podcasts ago
That's right, get in your bag.
about the conclave. And I said, I'm a skeptical person, so why wouldn't I like campaign if I was trying to be pope? And you were like, well, why wouldn't the Holy Spirit um give them discernment? And I just thought about it the other day. I was just like, man, like I wonder why. Like, can it be both? Like what if these people prayed and they went with an answer, they just labeled it the Holy Spirit, or vice versa? Well, what if this was the plan of God for them to go through all this?
I guess we'll never know. I guess we'll never know.
I mean, like, I don't know. I think that's just a very interesting thing. Like, it's a very sad thing. When you really think about nuclear testing, I know that's not where you were trying to go, but
We
when
can go there too.
when you think about nuclear testing, you ever think about the fact that like humans always do this thing where we always do like so many damaging experiments, projects. Um, One of them is literally the Manhattan Project. But that one, at least, not to justify, creating the atom bomb, but for that one, there was a specific goal to make a nuclear bomb before Germany did in World War II. Um, but then you look at things like the Wormwood Project or MK Ultra. You look at all these things, and it's like they're literally trying to poke the bear of the unknown. And I don't know how deep you are with aliens, but all these alien sightings tend to be where nuclear blasts went off. So, for example, Roswell, New Mexico. You guys remember 1950s something? It's like the famous an alien ship crashed in the middle of the desert.
Is that guy that wrote that book and it became a movie?
That's Travis Walton,
The fact that you
1990s.
knew who I was talking about.
Bro, I am, how I am with consciousness is how I am with aliens. Because I don't know why for me, one has to be real and the other one has to be false. Like either aliens are real or God is not real, or God is real and aliens aren't. I don't know why that's how my brain works. I'm trying to disassociate it because aliens probably aren't real. And but I feel like these stories are just very interesting. So I get really like big on these
I
stories.
think they both can be real.
No, I mean I know they can
What's an
be.
alien to God?
What's a wall to a way maker? Anyway, so but
Sky demons.
sky demons, I love that. So specifically with these with Roswell, New Mexico is close to Los Alamos. That's where they did the Manhattan Project. That's where they tested all the bombs. I don't think they did all the bombs in that part of New Mexico, but they did a lot of the testing. I think that's where they did the testing for the atom bomb before it went to Japan. So years later, Roswell, New Mexico, that whole thing happens. And if you ever look into that story, the story's so weird. So, they debunked it, right? They were like, it was a weather balloon, right? Like that's what happened. It was a weather balloon and someone saw it, they didn't know what it was, so they freaked out. And yeah, that's the simple misunderstanding. Well, there's a lot of discrepancies with that story. How come what's it called? The president flew into New Mexico around that time. How come he was spotted in New Mexico flying in? Like for what? Like what reason would anyone really need to go to New Mexico after an accusation like a UFO was there? Or the fact that multiple people were eyewitnesses to this of like, hey, dude, I saw something that was not no weather balloon. Or how come like, so you look at these things that like they start piling up on each other. And so you're like, dude, like, okay, that's Roswell, New Mexico. And then you look at all these like alien sightings, especially in the ocean. So a lot of conspiracy theorists think that the aliens are coming from the ocean.
Bruh, I don't mess with the ocean.
Bro, the
But
ocean is where it's
also,
at though.
if aliens are coming from the ocean, then they're not aliens because they're native to this world.
Well, and so here's the thing. They're either coming to the places where we were nuclear testing. So one of those places is the ocean. We were nuclear testing in the ocean. So they're showing up there, or there's also videos, claimed videos, because we never see them because it's always bad quality, right? But they're literally like ascending through from the ocean, and then people like see them fly. And so what's it's funny to me is I know I'm going on this long tangent about aliens, but it's because I'm really passionate about aliens. When I was in 8th grade, my science teacher, I forgot his name, but he was a colonel in the Air Force. And he was like, hey guys, like, this is about me. And he made his little PowerPoint of like, yeah, I was a colonel. Yes, I've been through basic. Yes, I punched someone in the face. Like all those type of questions, right? Like he wanted to do the frequently asked questions on his PowerPoint when he became our teacher. On one of them, he said, I saw a UAP. And I'm like, what's a UAP? And this is where this is where the Alex Jones and me rose like a phoenix. He was like,
There's so many jokes I can make about Alex Jones, but I don't think any of them are appropriate for this podcast.
I got the documents.
The
I
globalist.
the globalists, they know about this.
There's
So
chemicals in the water.
Bikini Bottom, you know what the government did? The U.S. government did with Bikini Bottom. So what happened was, he was like telling us, he was like, yes, I saw a UAP. And we're like, well, what's a UAP? And he's like, a UAP officially is, I think, it's like another form of saying unidentified flying object, but it's like I guess, a different terminology used by the Navy. Anyway, he's talking about, he was talking, I didn't know at the time, but he was talking about the Tic Tac UFO seen by Commander Fravor. And there's a video of this thing. It has it's showing no propulsion. So like, you've seen rocket ships or planes. There's always like, they always leave that like that white
The
stuff, the
chemtrails.
chemtrails type. I don't like that. I don't believe that one. But they always leave that because it's the propulsion of the engine, right? It's the propulsion. So in this video, you see this Tic Tac UFO zipping around, no propulsion. And what my teacher told me was, because I think he was an analyst. And so he's watching it on his radar. And he's saying, I have studied every single type of flying object in the world because that was my job. If a country was to send us a drone, I knew what it was before they even sent it because that's my job. I had never seen something like this. So I can't say, this is what he said. I can't say if it's a UFO or not because that would be disingenuous and that would be wrong. All I know is I didn't know what that was. And I was like, no way that this guy just told my 8th grade mind that aliens are real and it's about to be Independence Day. I'm about to punch an alien in the middle of the desert. Like, I literally, if you ever wanted to know how I became insane and neurotic, that's where it started. In my 8th grade science class, I became a little conspiracy theorist and I have never trusted the government since. That's
Allegedly.
allegedly. No, 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 no. This isn't allegedly. Commander David Fravor came out and this has been recorded. This has been proven.
Allegedly? you do trust it. You no, not
I pay
allegedly.
my
You
taxes.
trust the
I
government.
pay my
You
taxes.
trust the United States government as a United States citizen, and you would never go against our
I
government
trust my local government.
and the government at large.
I trust my state government.
The Backseat podcast trust the government.
I'm not saying I'm going to rebel against the government. That's not what I'm saying at
We
all.
would never say that.
No, no, no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I can't trust. Fine, I'll use a different word. I cannot believe the things that you're telling me if you change the details of those statements. Because in 2000,
Allegedly.
no, but the Tic Tac UFO thing, like they said, oh, it could be a drone, it could be this. Suddenly, out of nowhere, what is it, 2022, 2021? What's it called? They have a Senate hearing. It was like, yep, that was a UAP. We don't know what it was, and it may have not been from this world. And you're like, hey, wait. What are you trying to say? Are you trying to tell us that for 50 years, 60 years, you gaslit the entire public of saying it is crazy to think if aliens are real? And now out of nowhere, it's like, oh, this could be from another world. So we're accepting it. You know what I mean? Like I'm just saying, it's not that I don't trust the government be-
Because we do.
because I kind of don't. I have the freedom of speech to say that. It's that
Do you?
I until
When does this podcast come
whenever
out?
this podcast airs, I hope was it commandment number 1. I hope amendment number 1.
Commandment.
I hope amendment number 1 is still up and running. But until then, I think if Bikini Bottom is barely being recognized as it happening by the government. I think if the JFK files are still trying to be released, I think if all these things are still trying to be released, it's at least to say the government has been disingenuous on how they release information. At the very least, it's that. If they're not
Of
blatantly lying.
course. Because, of course, for an entity so large, it would be hard to get our story straight all at once.
That's true. But that's true. Like we work
But
at
there's no reason to instill doubt in the US government.
well, I'm not instilling everyone pay your taxes. Don't be crazy. Like, I mean, you're gonna pay your tax if you buy anything. It's a sales tax, so you can technically say you always pay your taxes, but whatever.
We need to
Um,
pay income taxes too.
well, we pay income taxes. So you know what? Since I pay my taxes, I believe I can say a little bit of the things I believe. But we work for a big organization. Like, I think not everyone's gonna know everything.
Oh, 100%.
So, what is a senator from Utah gonna know about national security at large? He's gonna probably know as much as he needs to vote on something. You know what I mean? Like, but what's he really gonna know about the UFO? What's he gonna know about Bikini Island? What, like, because it doesn't matter to his constituents. But that's all I'm saying. No one in the whole of the government can know every dirty little secret. And if that person does, I hope he has a podcast. I would watch it.
He definitely does not have a podcast.
The globalists, they're meeting up in the woods and
Literally. Yeah, look. Allegedly.
allegedly.
I can see where you're coming from.
It's not wrong to think that way. I mean, it also doesn't affect anybody. Listen, whether or not I believe in aliens does not affect the state of the government. It doesn't. I mean, if anything, I'm on the side of doubting if aliens are real, only because I really want aliens to be real. Like, but I also know that
Why do you want aliens to be real?
I want my reality to be false.
Why would aliens being real make your reality false?
Well, not false. I think like like I guess as a kid, I always did this thing where I would be like, everything is set in its way, and I would like something supernatural to rise above it. Right? So like um if I knew as a kid we were going to be able to be like have AI mimic people's voices and do all those things, I'd have been like, yeah, like that's that futuristic technology. But like at the time that wasn't existing. Like, we barely had cameras on an iPod. Like that's where we were, like that's where I was when I was a kid. So my whole thing is like, I think to me, aliens being real is like the equivalent of of Bigfoot being real. It's like, oh yeah, that's not normal.
You never watched Finding Bigfoot?
There's no way Bigfoot's real.
They would have found him by now. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, I mean, like, dude, how is he gonna survive? Like, if you're Bigfoot, you're eating,
Well,
and if you're eating that much, you think the government's not gonna tax what you eat? You think we're not gonna find a way
well,
to
yeah.
capitalize off of Bigfoot? You think we're not gonna put him in a zoo and start, chaining him up to things and be like, hey, let's all go see Bigfoot? He's like, oh, what if he escapes? Well, what do you think we're gonna do? We're gonna put him down.
I think I I just realized in this moment because I was gonna be like, oh yeah, Bigfoot, the chupacabra. I thoroughly believe in the chupacabra.
I'm pretty sure it's like a rabid goat or something.
There is not a shadow of doubt in my head that the chupacabra is not real. Like he's 100% real.
The chupacabra, that's the one that does it for you?
Yes. I watched too many documentaries as a kid for this to be fake, bro.
There are not documentaries on the chupacabra.
You never had Discovery Channel?
I have, but like the most I've seen was Ancient Aliens. I think that was on the History Channel.
I don't know what I watched, but it was literally an hour and a half long, basically proof that the chupacabra was real. It was really cool. That's
That's
all.
interesting. I mean,
I believe in Bigfoot too. I think he's some kind of like ape. You mean to tell me the grizzly bear is real, but Bigfoot's not?
I don't know about Bigfoot. I won't doubt the chupacabra that much. I think Alien still has to be the most fantastic one, but also I get stuck watching those alien podcasts. So I have to like, I need to listen to someone saying that they're not real.
I believe in aliens, but I think they might be sky demons.
Yeah.
The apparitions in the sky sent to distract us.
From what?
God.
Well, and see that's the thing though. Like, what if that's the distraction that's working for me? I don't know. I don't believe in aliens that much. I believe in God over aliens, but I also believe like if there's something out there and people are having these experiences.
People have lots of encounters with demons, so that doesn't surprise me.
Well, so here's this funny enough. I learned this fact the other day. It is I forgot the name of this. I really wanted to talk to you about it because I thought it was really cool. But it's basically um when lightning appears to us like an orb, like a ball of light. It's a really interesting phenomenon that's real. This is a real thing that happens, and a lot of people misconstrue that phenomenon with aliens.
Related but not, another weather phenomena
Cool.
is that it has rained frogs before.
Well, I mean, Exodus was kind of clear about that, but when else did it rain frogs?
Okay, rude. Thank you.
That was you got me on aliens. Oh, that's a get you back.
Ooh, I'm a Bible nerd. Okay, there's your cookie.
Okay, first of all, VeggieTales was telling us about that.
Anyways, outside of Exodus, it has rained frogs before, and there's an explanation as to why it rains frogs. I had a cough, sorry.
An explanation?
So basically, what happens is, the water cycle.
Yeah.
Well, there was a situation, I think it was in like Britain, where a bunch of tadpole eggs got caught in the water cycle and actually like cycled up into the clouds and then grew because of the moisture was so dense. They actually grew into like amphibians, and then they got too heavy and then fell down to the ground.
Fact check that.
I learned it on the Weather
Fact
Channel.
check that. That's so creepy. Fact check that.
Sergio, you gotta fact check it.
Fact check that. Go ahead and get that, Sergio.
The Weather Channel app taught me that.
The Weather Channel app? Not even.
Yeah, it popped up. You know, like how they have like news on the
Yeah.
Weather Channel? Well, it popped up in my notifications because like I have notifications for the Weather Channel.
Sure.
And it was like raining frogs. And I was like, girl, what you talking about? So then I clicked on it and I was like, it's raining frogs. So
Do we know that? Do we have that yet, Sergio?
2013.
No way. This
Oh.
was recent?
Yeah.
told you it's a weather phenomena.
Bro, that's insane. No, but that's the thing. Weather phenomena are very interesting because what's funny is that my mom has a story where she was in Monterey, California. That's where I'm from. And what happened was she said she's driving at maybe 1, 2 in the morning. She's at a stop sign. And she said this like ball of light is hovering in the sky. And she had never seen anything like it. And she was so terrified. She was like she was just still. She didn't know what to do. And she never talked about it. She literally just like went on with her life like normal, like nothing after. And I was like, "Hey mom, like, do you believe in aliens?" And she's like, "Absolutely not." She's a diehard Pentecostal woman. So then I was like, "Well, what about all these people that have all these experiences and what happens to all these people that say they were abducted or they saw something or oh,
You see?
is that okay? Is that the government? Am I getting too close? Am I on it? Do I know what's going on? I do. So, is it okay? Okay, perfect. Thanks. So she ended up
For
letting
those of
me.
you who are unaware, we had a mishap behind the scenes. Everything's good.
Everything's good. But what happened was my mom ends up letting me know. She was like, "Yeah, but like I had a situation like that." And I was like, "Okay, like what is it?" And she was letting me know she was of that situation where she was at the stop sign. She remembers seeing this ball of light. She said it was a fire in the sky, which is the same. And she's never seen the movie or she's never heard of Travis Walton before, but it is the same description that those men who were logging, they said they saw in the woods, a fire in the sky. And they had the same reaction as her, stunned. And so I asked my mom, I was like, "Well, how come you never told me about this?" She told me this. I'm 25, like 26. She told me this now. And I'm like, "How come you've never told me this before?" And she's like, "I've never thought about it. I never wanted to think about it. It was the most terrifying experience of my life. And I just never wanted to think about it. So I repressed it." And so I'm like, that, I mean, it could be that phenomenon where, I don't know if it's lightning or thunder. Basically, it's like it hovers over and it happens. There's photographs of it. I mean, it's real. But she said it was there for a minute, for a hot minute. And so, I mean, are we just gonna ignore it and be like, "Oh, it was nothing"? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's something.
Look, I believe in aliens, but also I don't know if they're aliens.
That's a good way of putting it. That's an interesting way of putting it. I don't know if I believe in aliens. I would like to believe in aliens only because the thought of an extraterrestrial being is more fun than our boring meat sacks of reality.
I would hate to believe in aliens.
I don't fully
I
believe in
would
them.
I've had too many and it's so funny because I personally am not afraid of aliens, but I've had so many nightmares about aliens targeting me.
Really? That's
Yes.
creepy.
Like I've had nightmares of like aliens like abducting me and like conducting like experiments on me. They're nightmares. They're not real.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
I fully wake up in my room every time like please don't think. I would hate to diminish the stories, the real stories of people who have actual encounters, but
Allegedly, though.
alleged encounters. But I have nightmares about like aliens abducting me and like conducting like psychological tests on me. I have nightmares about like alien warfare with like our our warfare on Earth, like
Yeah.
them fighting us. I have lots of nightmares about aliens. I haven't in a while, praise God. But I think the nightmares,
Yeah.
the things I've seen have made me staunchly not want to believe in aliens because if 2% of those nightmares are possible, like I don't want to live in that world.
Well, and I think
But
that's
also I believe in aliens, so
but I think that's the other thing. Like for me, it's not that serious. Like for me, it's like almost as if, oh, aliens are real. Like I like it because of the conspiracies. I like it because the government's afraid of it. I like it because it's a hidden topic within our society. But I mean, it won't it will not do much for me. You know what I mean? Like I'll be like, "Wow, aliens are real." It's not changing much, but it's basically telling me that reality isn't real. But at the end of the day, what changes if reality isn't real? I'm still going to work tomorrow. Still got to pay my taxes, you know? And so I think that's the part of me that doesn't believe in aliens. The part of me of well, first of all, if aliens are real, what does it matter? And two, unless they're invading the world and the planet, what changes tomorrow? So I don't know. I think that's the thing with me and aliens. I'm ready to put
A cap on
a
aliens?
cap on aliens. Great.
Great.
I will go on too long about aliens. I really love aliens.
Well, my next topic actually segues from aliens.
Okay, cool. What is it?
The thought is, what if we are the North Sentinel Island? Sentinel,
Yeah.
right? What if we are the North Sentinel Island and everyone is trying to preserve us from what's happening around us?
So that's an alien conspiracy.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
no, no. That ties in with this.
Ah, interesting. So
So anytime we get too close, ooh, sorry, I just like hit my, ooh, sorry.
yeah.
I hit my headphone and it sent a sound wave through my whole head. Um, the conspiracy that I believe is that we get too close to nuclear power and nuclear warfare, and then they're like, beep, 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 beep. We gotta fix this.
Well, there is a situation where this happened actually. Dude, you're literally making me sound like a tinfoil hat. So there isn't a situation where in the 70s,
Before we
80s,
get too deep into this, can
sure.
I briefly explain what the North Sentinel Island is so that all of this conversation makes sense for the people who have not heard of it?
The North Sentinel Island.
North Sentinel Island is an island off the coast of India, and it has gone untouched for hundreds of years. There is a tribe that lives on this island that is still tribal by nature. They don't have electricity. They live completely off the land, and we accidentally sent them from the Stone Age to the Iron Age back in 1981. In 1981, a boat shipwrecked and washed up on their shore, and they stripped the boat of all of its iron and created iron tools.
Oh.
And it basically like shifted them from Stone Age into Iron Age, but only with tools, nothing else.
Yeah.
The island itself does not have iron there, but they gather iron from trash and things that wash up on their shores, and they're obsessed with iron. And anthropologists have been trying to keep this island closely under wraps so that no one messes with them, since they're the last generation of people to be Stone Age like. They also reject any kind of outsider. There was a Christian missionary back in 2018, I believe, that actually got unalived
Yeah, I
because he
remember
was
that.
trying to evangelize to these people. And then the only person from civilization that has been able to contact them or even try to communicate with them was a Indian philanthropist who has his entire expedition for free on the internet. It's really good. But yes, that's the context of North Centennial Island. I could go on a rant, but I just remember that we had a pen and a different rant. So go ahead.
No, but real quick, you know the Rothschilds kid. In surgery, you can look up which one this is. But the Rothschilds, one of their sons, he got lost there. So
Mhm.
what happened was he was actually a nepo baby who wanted to see the world and and this is true. This is what happened. Like he literally wanted to go to this uncontacted tribe, and he was never seen of again. And so, huh?
Never seen before.
There actually was a sighting in 2008, I believe, maybe earlier,
Yeah,
where a plane was flying over the island,
yeah.
and they had like a little camera like overviewing, and in a like slight frame, you can see the tribe, and there's like one white guy.
You know, I thought about that because imagine being the Rothschilds. You're like one of the richest families for like a generation, and your child goes missing. You would think that having all that money, you're gonna find them, do an investigation, or like pull up to that island with and bomb it up. And even they have limits, man. There's nothing they can do.
Well, he
So,
was probably unalived before they could do anything about it.
I don't know. I always think about those things. I'm like, man, like I wonder how they're. The North Sentinel Island's an interesting thing, but so for the conspiracy theory on that, it's basically we are the uncontacted tribe, and all these sightings are people visiting us. There's a better one actually. People from the future.
That's the one I believe.
Yeah, people from the future are coming back in time to see us, and they have a rule of not trying to mix with anybody. Even crazier than that, I don't know how deep I want to get into this. I heard this podcast where this guy says he met an alien and
Sober?
sober.
Oh.
He is from the military. He is a scientist in the military.
Why is it only the military?
That's the thing, though. Why is it always the military in the desert? Why is it always where the airspaces are? How come in the 80s when there was going to be there was a misunderstanding in the 80s between Russia and the United States where we thought they were launching a missile. And so were like, well, if they're going to launch a missile, mutually assured destruction, we're going to go ahead and launch one too. I don't know how true this one is. This one does have to be looked into. Um, Allegedly, what happened was when we were attempting to go ahead and strike back to Russia, because we thought at the time they were striking a missile at us. We were going to go ahead and basically press the button in layman's terms, and we were unable to. All of our abilities to strike back stopped. And so a lot of the conspiracy nuts are like, oh, those were the aliens stopping us. I like to think that's God being like,
I'm like, that one kind of sounds like God to me.
that one sounds to me like God because it's kind of like, hey, no, we're not doing that. We're not going to be playing those games. But
There's a really like
yeah,
blasphemous alien conspiracy theory that I don't know if I even want to bring up.
blasphemous in what way? Like who does it? How does it dishonor God or like offend God basically?
Well, I don't subscribe to this theory,
Yeah, sure, me neither.
but
Not if it's
they
blasphemous.
believe that Jesus was an alien.
Okay, so this comes from a movie called I think it was the what movie was it? It's not the Alien series, it's the other one with the engineers. But it's basically these aliens that they predate humanity. They created humans and they sent Jesus. Basically, they're trying to like pervert God and the gospel, but they send Jesus as the perfect human to bring us back to reality, and we killed Jesus. What's interesting about the story of Jesus, we're not trying to make this faith based, but what's interesting about the story of Jesus is that he's not an alien.
Praise God.
That's an interesting thing because the whole belief of Jesus is that he's fully human and fully God. So, in being fully human, you've relinquished everything about being an alien. And if we're created in the image of God, God can't be an alien either because we're one with we are from him. So that's an interesting concept. I don't
Well,
know.
also, Jesus being alien is so easily debunked because you can literally trace back to his birth.
Yeah, I mean it's not just that. I think the interesting thing about we use aliens as a cop out sometimes. Most of the time. I want to say this is a most of the time. The only time I really like to believe into the alien conspiracy theories, which I just like listening to them. But the only time I really like listening to them is when it's sightings or anything like that. I think when we do things like, oh, well, the aliens built the pyramids. I don't know if I believe that one. Like, I'm
I
not going
think
to,
the Nephilim built the pyramids.
oh, the Nephilim. We need to have an actual theologian and
I'm
pastor
like,
to go
Pastor Jeremy, please help me out.
Jeremy. Jeremy Marone, man, that's the one who he's gonna.
Eric Lucetta, you're not watching this, but if this gets sent to you, please help us out.
You know what? Let's have people from the other side of the aisle. Pope Leo, if you're watching this, I would love your
Help us.
opinion.
I'm sure you know a lot about aliens.
What's in the Vatican files?
Bro, I don't want to know, actually.
I want to know. I want to go to the Vatican. I want to check those files.
I said this 2 podcasts ago, and I stand by this. I could not handle the mantle of being Pope because I love not knowing what I don't know. I live in so much blissful ignorance, and I think that's a flex.
Do you
I
think?
think my
But
ignorance is my superpower.
is it though? Because I think the only problem with blissful ignorance. Oh my gosh, we're going down this rabbit hole. All right. The only problem with blissful ignorance is that it doesn't matter until it does. And usually when it does, it's when it's dangerous. And I know we earlier said we respect the government, but
We still comply with the government.
we still comply. But what happens historically? What happens when everything's good until we realize it's not? It's literal chaos. This is a humanity has done this its entire history. There's these moments of like in of no, I don't want to say peace because we're never peaceful, but there are these plateauing years, seasons, decades, maybe even centuries at some point. And then all the issues that are piling on itself, it always comes to it comes apart usually all at once. The French Revolution was one of these where I mean being a serf, that's been 1,000 years. People were serfs for 1,000 years. But suddenly, because these kings started like over and just over and grandalizing everything. They literally created like the Palace of Versailles. Like, and people were like, dude, are you insane? And out of nowhere, 1,000 years of being repressed by hierarchy comes down. Like, I think humans just do we just do this so well all the time that we're okay with blissful ignorance, or maybe not blissful ignorance, maybe willful ignorance, because we'll let it slide until there's a point where we can't let it slide anymore. And I think that's not me with aliens. That's some people with aliens. Some people are like, I've lived my whole life a lie. This warps my humanity. And I'm like, this is kind of crazy, but it's like nothing changes. But what happens tomorrow? They take away our freedom of speech, and not in the ways that they're saying right now, like, oh, they're taking away your freedom of speech. No, you just can't make money off of an app. Calm down. What happens tomorrow that they see this podcast and they arrest us? Like that
That's why
changes,
we comply with the government.
but that changes the that changes the narrative. Like you can't be ignorant at that point. That there's no more room for ignorance at that point. Now, I'm not saying that the answer is the revolution. There's no revolution that I'm starting.
Please.
FBI, you know I'm out here paying my taxes and being a good model citizen.
Y'all, I'm tired.
There's no revolution I'm starting, but I'm saying like I think one of the contentions in our government is that as a society we know this can come tumbling down so quick. And I think I'm not going to go into specifics, but
We shouldn't.
I think a lot of the political discord in the country is everybody trying to keep everything together. Now, I don't think that's everybody. I don't think that's a large majority, but that is a majority of everybody. I don't care what side you're on. At some point, you do not want the country to fall apart because this is where your family lives. This is where you live. This is where our culture is. This is where our society is. This is where we have kids. This is where we have schools. And you know, I think everyone's on polarizing sides because they think the other side's going to destroy the whole thing. But I think that's how we get destroyed because once we're, oh my God, I'm ranting. I'm going to finish it with this. Once we go too far in trying to keep everything afloat, we've already sunk. There's nothing we can do. And so All this to say, my mom saw a ball of fire in the sky.
We might be the North Sentinel Island.
We may. I mean, I don't think we are. I hate to be a nihilist. Funny enough, because Nietzsche was not a Christian or a believer in God in any way. But I don't. I think we're alone. I think the reason we believe in aliens or we want to believe in aliens is because we don't want to accept the fact that we're alone in the universe. And there are millions of planets, millions of solar systems. There's millions of potentials of life, maybe bacteria at some other planets, but we're truly alone in the universe. And I think the realization of that is too depressing for people to, for anybody to really think about. So I don't think we're North Sentinel Island. I think we look at North Sentinel Island with almost like we wish we were them in some scary way. Of like we wish someone else was watching us. Because if North Sentinel Island somehow overdeveloped tomorrow and created nuclear bombs, you're gonna tell me we wouldn't intervene? I'm just saying we're alone in the universe. Because if there's someone else watching and they saw us do all of this, they're either evil or they're God. And I don't believe in another. I don't believe that we're. I believe we're alone, and I think God is has allowed free will. So God's not evil. I didn't want to word that like I'm wrong, but God's not evil. But I really do think I think we're alone in the universe.
Wow. Well, there you go.
That's until I'm proven wrong.
I still think aliens are real.
But they're sky demons.
Yes.
So do you think the sky demons are sentient?
What do you mean? Like with free will?
Yeah.
No. I don't think demons have free will.
Hmm. So how do they rebel against God?
Oh, well, I don't think they have free will from their new person they serve.
Interesting. I think they just scheme.
But is that their free will or is that all they know how to do?
But then again, we can't judge something like that with human
That's why I'm
intentionality.
like,
It's a hard thing.
but also, isn't the beautiful thing about people is that we're kind of the only things with free will?
Yeah, I would say so. I think that's why most of these questions come up. Like, I feel like existentialism tends to be the driving force between all of our thoughts when it comes to aliens or free will or anything that's outside of our control and reality. I'm talking so much, Catherine. You're going to have to save me.
But don't you think existentialism is like a symptom of being both spirit and human?
No, I think it's not being able to let go of humanity, of human. I
Mm.
think I need people to correct me in the comments, but I truly believe we care so much about being not alone in the universe, and we care so much about spirituality, and we care so much about all these things because we can't accept the fact that we're going to die. We can't accept the fact that, in the words of Erwin McManus, no one else is coming but God.
And no one else is.
And no one else is. And I know that's, again, we're not trying to center all this around a preaching. That's not what I'm doing at all. But I think humanity struggles with realizing we're alone, we're vulnerable, and we're all, no matter rich, poor, smart, dumb, black, white, there's nothing that will stop us from the fact that we're gonna die. And I think that's what existentialism tends to be rooted in. We can't let go of flesh. We can't let go of humanity. And I'm not trying to bring everyone down, by the way. I just thought I think survival is a very interesting thing because we don't tend we tend to only see survival instincts when we're about to die. That's when they're most prominent. It's the reason why like when you're drowning and someone's trying to save you, you will drown them instinctively.
You would know that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that. I can't swim. So when we went to Puerto Rico, and you know what? I'm not afraid of this story, Catherine. I'm proud of my inadequacies. So we went to Puerto Rico, and we're literally like, I can't swim well. I can swim ish.
You can't swim underwater.
I can't swim underwater. So we literally, what is this, like a current? It's like a
Basically,
heavy current. I jumped
we
into a heavy current.
we are in the rainforest of Puerto Rico, and we are sliding down these natural slides. They're literally waterfalls, just with like a smooth edge that like creates a slide. But at the bottom of the waterfall is the current of the river, and it's kind of strong because like that water's hitting it and the current's moving. So Christian slides down the current of the river.
I slide down the current of the river, and beforehand, I told them I can't swim. And so they were like, so we're going to have to go down and catch you. I literally told myself as I'm sliding down, don't fight it. Don't fight the current. Don't fight the guy trying to save you. You're going to be okay. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. I literally touched the water. I'm almost swinging at this dude. Like, I am struggling. I look ridiculous, but it's because it's the instinct of survival. That instinct is so strong in me. No matter how much willpower I have, I cannot fight trying to, you know, survive.
And that's the cap on that conversation.
That's the cap of the conversation. We're on the last couple minutes of the pod.
Let's see what else there is to talk about that's so much more lighthearted than the past two conversations we've had.
Yeah, please go ahead and talk instead of me because every time I open my mouth, I just say the craziest things. But you know what, Sergio?
Bro,
I haven't cursed. Go ahead.
there you go. People are romanticizing going to high school between the years of 2014 and 2019. And that makes me feel decrepit.
Decrepit.
I feel like Joe Byron.
What's up, baby?
Also, we need to be praying for Joe Byron. But, anyways, I feel decrepit. I feel ancient. This was not that long ago. This was less than 10 years ago. How are you romanticizing 2016 Tumblr? It was crazy out there.
20. I never had Tumblr because of how creepy it was.
I was trying to be aesthetic. Look, sometimes you crank that Soldier Boy, and sometimes that Soldier Boy cranks you. That Soldier Boy cranked me, man. 2016 Tumblr, before the internet was censored for minors, was crazy. It was like Twitter. Crazy.
No, Twitter right now is crazy. I don't have Twitter.
No, I'm talking about old Twitter.
I wasn't in old Twitter.
Oh, I was on old Twitter. Old Twitter was crazy.
Old Twitter.
I don't know why y'all are romanticizing listening to Lana Del Rey in your room with her flower crown at 16 years old
Crown is crazy.
with an iPhone 14 and that god awful filter that just keeps circulating the internet. But you,
iPhone what?
oh, what did I say?
You said
iPhone
14.
14.
I'm like, that's what I have.
Definitely meant like an iPhone 4. I was thinking of 2014. iPhone 4S. Let me
I
get
had
it
the
correct.
5C, man.
That's ghetto.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I'm not gonna lie, I was so jealous of my friend. She had an iPhone 5C and it was purple and it was so cute. And I was kind of jealous because it was cute. But then I got an iPhone 5S and I had the fingerprint thing. So then
Yeah.
I was like, well, potato, potato. We both got iPhones now.
Well, there you go. So everyone's romanticizing.
Yes.
Oh my god.
They're all like, I was born in the wrong generation. I'm like, look, the only thing that backs your argument is that being a fangirl back then, it's not the same now. You don't have a boy band to look up to. You don't have One Direction. You don't have Five Sauce. You don't have All American Rejects. Like, you don't have any of that.
Yeah.
So I understand being fandomless, but you got to take the good, bad, and the ugly too. You got to take being awkward. You gotta take skinny jeans. You gotta take low-rise Vans. You gotta take those ugly dresses that were just blinged out for homecoming. Every Macy's dressing room ever, bro. You can't just have Lana Del Rey in your room with a flower crown. You gotta have the horizontal striped shirt too.
You know what I used to wear? I used to wear distressed clothing,
I did too.
not distressed jeans. I
Oh,
was
yeah, the
easy.
tops.
Yeah, I would wear like just disheveled clothes. I think I still have a jean jacket in my closet, and it's literally distressed. Like it's like, dude, it's like torn up. That was the point.
I remember we didn't get a Forever 21 in Lake Charles till I was about 17 years old. And that was the first time I ever bought a t-shirt with like holes in it. It literally, looking back at this t-shirt was awful. It looked like it just had a bunch of cigarette holes in it. It looked like someone just like ashed the mess out of this shirt in random spots, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
I thought that was so edgy. I thought I was Five Sauce.
5 sauce.
5 Seconds of Summer?
Okay,
Fake fan.
I'm not a fan.
I bought my fake ID for you. She told me to meet her there. I can't afford a bus fare. I'm not old enough for her. I'm just waiting till I'm 18.
Okay, but think about
No, don't go there. Don't
what
ruin
else.
that song for me.
No, no, no. I'm not gonna go there. I'm saying I'm going a different direction. You heard After Laughter album by Paramore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember the first time you heard that? That was a good time.
Yeah.
That was my senior year of high school.
After Laughter?
2017.
Was it really? Oh,
Yeah.
no, it was.
Yeah, it's 2017. That was my senior
It
year of
was
high
because
school.
that was my Emma Chamberlain era.
Yeah, that was a good one.
She would listen to Hard Times and drive around LA. She had just moved to LA. No. She was still in San Fran. She moved to LA in 2018.
Yeah. I also oh, bless you. The
Oh my
first
god, I'm so sorry. I was trying so hard not to cough in the mic.
the first time you listen to Father Stretch My Hands Part 1.
I didn't have the same reaction. I liked it, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't the same as
Sergio, you remember when that beat dropped the first time?
Beautiful morning.
You remember like singing to the Lord, "You're the sun in my morning," and then you hear that verse and you're like, "And if I dun 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 dun, you gonna na 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 na, and I'm gonna get on my t-shirt." You're like, okay, I just wanna feel liberated. You know what I mean? Like, it was a good moment. It was a good time. Oh, Kanye, come back to the Lord, please. You don't have to make a Christian album again, but dude, just please, anything.
get on the meds.
No, I'm not gonna say that either. I don't know him. I'm not his doctor.
He clearly needs something.
He might have an iron deficiency. What? Listen, I'm
Lead
sorry.
paint
Not
poisoning.
everything is a mental illness. I'm not.
But this clearly is.
No, you are not qualified in any way to say that.
I'm not. But I'm an average person, and he is acting in a way that an average person does not.
But Catherine, he has always been a. No, I'm not even gonna defend.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go there. I love his music. I think he's one
You're
of my.
gonna solidify my point
He's
if
one
you
of
go
my
there.
favorite producers of all time. He literally makes my favorite music. So we're gonna leave
This is
it
a
there.
very cancelable statement you're saying right
No,
now.
I don't. I mean, I think it's unfair to take people at their worst sometimes when it doesn't affect my safety or anyone else's safety, and it doesn't really affect anyone else's safety. I don't think words affect people's safety. I think action affects people's safety.
But if you're promoting your worst, shouldn't people take you at what you promote?
I don't know. Part of me says yes, but part of me says no, and I think I think sometimes people go through seasons of their life where they are trying to make sense of everything. And I think that's where he is. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's good. I'm not even saying that's moral or ethical or anything. I'm just saying that people are very three-dimensional. And so my hope as we finish is that we all realize we're all three-dimensional and that, you know, We're all
I'm
growing
feeling
together.
4-dimensional.
Wait. Since you said that, since you said 4-dimensional, fourth dimension is gonna be track 3.
Show us the record.
Oh yeah, Kids See Ghost.
No, baby, the record.
Oh, the vinyl. Sorry, there's a term for that, baby. This is the vinyl. It's dope. Yeah, you said fourth dimension. I got to bring it out.
You're welcome, by the way.
Thank you. No, she literally gave me this 1 year anniversary.
It was your birthday.
My birthday. Yeah, this was such a
I had to
great
buy
gift.
it off StockX. It's a limited edition.
It is. This is like my favorite piece of furniture. Probably
Furniture.
not great right now. Maybe by the time this airs.
It's good to reminisce on the past because, there are highs and there are lows in our human history.
Oh, we can't do that either. All right, guys, this has been episode 5. Oh man, 2017. I romanticized. That was a good time.
Today drained me. Today drained me. In recap, as we try to end on a higher, more lighthearted, less controversial ending.
Free Tory Lanez.
Less controversial ending. 2017 was not nearly as good as 2016. 2016 was literally peak. I learned to drive in 2016. All the great albums came out in 2016. Miss Riri released her album in 2016. It was a great time. Pokemon Go was at an all-time high. Everyone was walking around.
Crazy time. I always hated that game. Always hated that game.
Wow. Is there anything positive you want to say? In closing? Dude, I still have it too. I still play it, bro.
Y'all are still playing
I
it?
be sending gifts and stuff. I'm not even joking. Look, if you want to flame me for still playing Pokemon Go, I'm sorry you're an enemy of fun. Like, go eat a Twizzler. Like, touch grass. Enjoy enjoy life, bro. Eat a Twizzler. Take a chill pill. Drink a glass of chocolate milk with no lactate after.
Wow.
And just sit in that.
All right. That's been episode 5, ladies and gentlemen.
Put a donut in the microwave. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning into episode 5 of the Backseat podcast. We'll see if we're around for episode 6.
We'll see if extraterrestrial beings join us in the next podcast.
They will not. Spoiler alert. Go check out our Patreon.
That was a good one.